Hello, and welcome to today's briefing. I'm Dana, and I'm here with Matt. We're covering a range of stories from politics to economy and entertainment. Let's start with our first topic. The Justice Department has opened an investigation into E. Jean Carroll, the advice columnist who accused Donald Trump of sexual assault. The investigation is looking into whether Carroll lied during the course of civil litigation against Trump.
That's a significant development. What are the potential implications of this investigation?
The investigation could potentially lead to criminal charges against Carroll if it's found that she lied under oath. This is a serious matter as it involves allegations of perjury.
So, how does this relate to the civil litigation against Trump? Wasn't there already a case regarding Carroll's accusations?
Yes, Carroll had accused Trump of sexual assault, and there was a civil case. The Justice Department's investigation into Carroll doesn't directly impact Trump's status in that civil case, but it could influence public perception and potentially other related legal matters.
I see. And what's the current status of this investigation?
According to the reports, the investigation is ongoing. The Justice Department is looking into the matter, and there are multiple sources familiar with the situation.
Okay, got it. Let's move on to our next story.
Jill Biden, the former First Lady, recently shared that she thought Joe Biden was having a stroke during the 2024 debate against Donald Trump. She described being frightened by his performance.
Wow, that's quite a personal insight. What was Joe Biden's response to her concerns?
The reports don't indicate that Joe Biden directly responded to Jill Biden's specific comments about thinking he was having a stroke. However, there was significant media attention around his debate performance and its aftermath.
That must have been very challenging for both of them. Did Jill Biden provide any further context about what she observed during the debate?
According to the interview she gave to CBS News, Jill Biden said she had never ever seen Joe act like that before or since. This suggests that his performance was unusually poor.
That's striking. The debate performance clearly had significant political implications, as it led to the end of his 2024 re-election campaign.
Exactly. The shaky debate performance fueled concerns among voters about his age and ability to continue for another term.
Okay, let's move on to our next topic.
France's parliament has voted to repeal a 17th century law known as the Black Code, which governed enslaved people in France's colonies. The National Assembly unanimously approved the bill to repeal this decree.
That's a significant historical step. What was the significance of this law, and why was it never repealed until now?
The Black Code was a decree signed in 1685 by King Louis XIV, classifying humans as property. Despite France abolishing slavery in 1848, the Code Noir remained on the books until this recent vote.
So this vote is more symbolic than practical, as the law was already obsolete.
Yes, it's largely symbolic, acknowledging France's colonial past and the lingering impact of such legislation. President Emmanuel Macron has also suggested the idea of reparations for slavery, though details remain unclear.
Reparations are a complex issue. Do you think this move by France might influence other countries to address their historical legacies?
It's possible. By formally repealing the Black Code, France is taking a step towards addressing its colonial history. This could potentially encourage other nations to examine their own pasts.
All right, let's move on.
Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan has announced that she won't run for president in 2028. She put to rest speculation about a potential bid, citing that she will be leaving office at the end of this year.
That's a clear statement. What were the speculations around her potential running?
Whitmer was viewed by some Democrats as a potential candidate for the 2024 presidential primary. She has been mentioned as someone who could bring certain strength to a national campaign.
Now that she's ruled herself out, who might be considered frontrunners for the Democratic nomination in 2028?
The field is expected to be crowded, but specific frontrunners haven't been clearly identified yet. Whitmer's decision removes one potential candidate.
Okay, let's continue.
The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a black death row inmate from Mississippi who claimed there was racial bias in the makeup of the jury that convicted him.
That's a significant ruling. What were the details of the case?
The inmate argued that there was racial bias in the jury selection process. The Supreme Court agreed, ruling in his favor.
What are the potential implications of this ruling for other similar cases?
This ruling could set a precedent for other cases where racial bias in jury selection is alleged. It highlights the ongoing issue of racial discrimination in the justice system.
That's a critical issue. Let's move on to our next story.
The EU has fined the online retailer Temu €200 million for failing to prevent the sale of illegal products on its platform. The European Commission found that Temu didn't do enough to identify and remove such products.
That's a substantial fine. What kind of products were being sold?
The reports mention baby toys and faulty chargers as examples of the illegal products sold on Temu's platform.
So, what does this mean for Temu's business practices and compliance with EU regulations?
The fine indicates that Temu failed to comply with the EU's Digital Services Act. This could lead to changes in how Temu operates within the EU to avoid future penalties.
That's a significant regulatory action. Let's move on to our next topic.
We have a roundup of market news under Business Today. The BBC airs this segment at various times.
Can you provide more details on what's typically covered in Business Today?
It's a summary of the day's market news covering various financial and business developments.
Okay, let's move on.
UPath, a company listed as PATH, has seen its stock price moves and news coverage. The company reported better than expected revenue in Q1 C1 2026.
What were the specifics of UPath's quarterly report?
UPath reported sales up 17.3% year-on-year to $418.4 million, beating expectations. They expect next quarter's revenue to be around $397.5 million.
That's a positive earnings report. How did the market react to the news?
The stock price rose ahead of the earnings announcement and continued to be positive after the report was released.
Okay, let's continue.
A Google engineer has been charged with insider trading related to Polymarket, a prediction platform. He allegedly used confidential Google data to make over $1.2 million in profits.
That's a serious allegation. What was the nature of the confidential data he used?
The engineer had access to Google's internal search trend data, which he used to make bets on Polymarket about Google's most searched list.
How does this case reflect on Google's internal data security and privacy practices?
The case suggests that there was a breach of confidentiality and potentially inadequate controls over sensitive information within Google.
Okay, let's move on to our next story.
Claude Lamaille, a four-time Stanley Cup champion and former NHL player, has passed away at the age of 60.
What was Lamaille known for in his hockey career?
Lamaille was known for his mix of skill and abrasiveness on the ice. He was not afraid to cross the line in the name of competition.
Did he have any notable appearances or moments recently?
Lamaille had a notable appearance at a recent Canadiens game, carrying the ceremonial torch into the Bell Centre.
That's a nice tribute. Let's move on.
There's a review of the Premier League action from various rounds of fixtures. The coverage is available on Sky Sports Premier League HD.
Can you provide more details on the specific matches covered in the review?
The review covers action from multiple rounds, including the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 21st rounds of fixtures.
Okay, let's move on.
The EFL Greatest Games segment is airing on Sky Sports, featuring classic matches like Swansea Town versus Sheffield United from 2014-15.
That sounds like a great retrospective. Are there other notable matches being featured?
Yes, other matches include Sheffield United versus Sheffield Wednesday from 2009-10 and Sheffield Wednesday versus Leeds United from 2013-14.
That's a nice look back at some historical matches. Let's continue.
The Bedford Super League Highlights show is airing on Sky Sports Action HD, featuring action from Warrington Wolves versus St. Helens and Salford Red Devils versus Lee Leopards.
Can you provide more details on the specific matches highlighted?
The highlights include matches from the 2024 Eliminator rounds, showcasing key moments from these games.
Okay, let's move on.
The Women's State of Origin is live on Sky Sports Action HD, featuring New South Wales versus Queensland.
How did the previous matches between New South Wales and Queensland go?
The previous matches have been covered with highlights available on Sky Sports Action HD. The current live match is part of the ongoing series.
All right, let's move on.
Peppa Pig is airing on Nick Jr., with new episodes like Decorating and Big Announcement.
What are the new episodes about?
The episodes cover various fun activities, such as decorating bedrooms and a big announcement from Mummy and Daddy Pig.
That sounds entertaining for young viewers. Let's continue.
An Austrian court has convicted a man of planning to attack a Taylor Swift concert in Vienna and sentenced him to 15 years in prison.
That's a serious conviction. What were the details of the plot?
The man admitted to planning an Islamist attack on the concert. He was found guilty of various terrorism-related offenses.
How did authorities foiling this plot impact the concert and Taylor Swift's security measures?
The plot was foiled and the concert was likely affected. The exact impact on Taylor Swift's security isn't detailed in the reports.
Okay, let's move on.
Teleshopping is airing on various channels like Sky Sci-Fi HD and ITV3, offering viewers a chance to buy goods from the comfort of their homes.
What's typically featured in teleshopping programs?
The programs showcase various products for sale, often with demonstrations and special offers.
Okay, let's continue.
Singer Olivia Rodrigo has addressed criticism over her baby doll dresses, stating that the backlash normalizes pedophilia.
What was the context of the criticism she faced?
Rodrigo was criticized for wearing outfits deemed childlike. She responded by saying this criticism reflects sexist attitudes and the normalization of pedophilia.
That's a strong statement. How did her fans and the public react to her response?
The reports indicate that Rodrigo stood by her choice, citing inspiration from 90s icons like Kathleen Hanna and Courtney Love.
All right, let's move on.
Paw Patrol is airing on Nick Jr. with episodes like Pups Save the One-Man Band and Pups Save a Rubble Double.
What are these episodes about?
The episodes cover various rescue missions and adventures involving the Paw Patrol team.
That sounds like fun for